Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today on September 30th, 2024. My name is Brian Engelman, and this is the Unhappy Hour Sports Show on the New American Media. Thank you so much for joining us and being a part of this wonderful program. Yes, uh, we have a history, an anchor, some guiding principles, and look, we're Cleveland based, is what I'm saying. We're rooted to Indians, Cavs, Browns, and Buckeyes. But we'll cover anything sports related. But on this particular program, we're covering the Unhappy Hour, specifically the Cleveland Browns, a strictly Browns broadcast here today. If you haven't checked out our new show, I'm doing a show with the Ancient Aliens guy, Mike Barra. You might have seen him on Ancient Aliens or all sorts of other stuff. But we do a show called Strictly Football. Every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern, we go live and we cover the entire league. He's a Seahawks fan. I'm a Browns fan. We recap what happened the week before, and then we take a look forward. He lives in Vegas. He gets some tips, and he kind of tries to provide some betting tips for the general public out there. But we do that on Fridays. Anyone watching on Facebook, if you want to jump into the show, just let me know. Leave a comment. Say hello. I would love to press play, hear you ask a question, a quick back and forth. And I'd love to take a bunch of calls, actually. So we'll get to that. But I want to talk about this performance from the Browns. So many thoughts. In no particular order. I really in no particular order. I jotted some notes down. I watched the game. Then I came back and watched the highlights again. Just trying to figure out how I feel about this 1-3 Cleveland Browns team. I clicked on a Jay Crawford, that show that they were doing, and Bowling Green alum Jay Crawford, by the way, go Falcons. He said something that very much resonated with me. I, I I wasn't yelling at the screen. I wasn't banging my fists. I wasn't irate. I just didn't care that much. Um, and for why? Why is that? Why? How have our expectations gone so low? Here, let me do the screen share here with the Raiders and the Browns. Here we go. Let's switch screens. Adam Reece, you have thoughts? Let's see if Adam has a thought on the game. Jump in if you like. Love to hear from you, actually. But the Cleveland Browns on the season. Here, let's switch these. We'll go large screen with the stats here. Swap this out. All right, let's talk about the Cleveland Browns offense for a second, shall we? On the season, we put up 16 points in game 4. 16. Couldn't even hit 20. Couldn't even get to 20. We put up 15 points against the Giants. We put up 13 points against the Jaguars. We put up 17 points against the Cowboys. Why do I not feel strongly about what's going on? Why am I sort of out of it? Why am I so disconnected with this team? The way that the Browns started this season against the Cowboys, I felt like Kevin Stefanski, the entire ownership and management group needed to apologize to the Cleveland Browns. They came out completely unprepared. They looked lost. They looked undisciplined. They looked confused. And as far as I'm concerned, that really is organizational failure. Tell me why the Steelers were 3-0. Yes, they did drop one, and yes, the Ravens did win, and Cincinnati, okay, fine. But why were the Steelers 3-0? It's because they have consistent leadership at the top. They have leadership, and they have consistency. But here's our consistency. 13, 15, 16, 17. Are you kidding me? Now, granted, 3 of those teams we played only put up 18, 20, 21. It's not like we're losing 52-13, although that Cowboys game certainly felt way bigger than 33-17, I'll tell you what. Is it time for the Ken Dorsey experiment to go away? What are we doing? Well, yes and no. I mean, look at how we've come out flat. And here's how the Cleveland Browns come out traditionally this year. For some reason, they script the first drive and they go 15 plays, 13 plays, 16 plays. They chew up half of the first quarter on one drive, punch it in, get some points. But we didn't get a third down conversion, if my maths me correctly. If my math is correct. We didn't get another third down conversion until the final drive of the game. Could that possibly be true? That was reported, and I'm repeating it, but I just want to double check. That almost seems too ridiculous. But then again, in some of these other games, we're not doing very well on third down either. Some of that is self-inflicted with penalties, of course. But some of it is scheme. Some of it is it's just execution, bad luck, bad calls. And yesterday's game had a little bit of all of that in it. We had a little bit of bad luck. Let's kind of go through what happened. Here's some good luck. Okay, but by the way, I don't want to tease too long on the fact that I am optimistic on this team. I am still buying the Cleveland Browns right now. By the way, if you're in the chat rooms, leave some comments, leave your chats, ask some questions. Oh, Tobirin. Let's see if he feels like jumping in. John, do you want to jump in? Give me your take on this season. I saw your take this morning. You're a little bit less optimistic than I am. I am actually optimistic right now. But things went wrong right after that first drive. Look, we got a 10-0 lead. 10-0 on the Raiders. On the road. That's a great start. That's exactly how you're supposed to play. 10-0. But bam, second quarter, we're tied again. We came out flat in the third and came clawing back almost in the final period. So obviously some of the duds. I think the punting was fair. Punting was good. Why did we miss that extra point? On the replay I saw, I didn't see anything wrong with the hold. I didn't see it blocked. Did he just miss it? So I have that question. But that's the difference. If it's a 17-20 game and we're at the 10-yard line and we're stopped, look at this is the final play right down here. This is what we're watching. Oh, am I still showing the screen? I think so. That's the final play. Deshaun Watson does not even get the ball out of his hand. He had two people open for a touchdown, but he needed half a second more. The line couldn't even give him half a second. But look at that. Deshaun. And I had somebody arguing this point with me. I don't know why. In the Unhappy Hour Sports Show group. Someone was, if Watson would have thrown it, it would have been intercepted. You would have been just as mad. I'm like, no. You have one job on that play. It's at least throw it for a jump ball. Somewhere inbounds, see if you get the luck of the bounce. It's happened before. Here's the play that they're showing at the bottom of the screen. There's the bad luck of the bounce. That is where it was right in the hands. It was a very well thrown ball from Deshaun Watson. Whoop! Pops right up and out of Amari Cooper's hands. Now, if you throw him that pass 100 times, it might take you 10,000 to turn a obvious completion, an easy a manageable completion, because he felt the footsteps. There were several people there. By the way, we're watching the opening drive touchdown pass. The Browns look good. They look confident. They look organized. But there's something about, here you go, it's a play action, rollout, Whitehead. What was his name? Whitehurst? Whitehurst? Seriously, I don't even know who this guy is. Whitehart. Whitehart. All right. I'm actually watching Braveheart again. It's on, they're showing it on whatever streaming service I have, whatever the TV is. Good movie. Forgot how much I liked it. That and The Patriot. But yeah, Whiteheart getting some time there because David Njoku is still injured. By the way, here's an update. Here's a reason for optimism. Let me give you a reason for optimism, folks. And look at that. Here's the Rodney McLeod play. Good job keeping his eye on it. Good job staying in bounds. Good job breaking that tackle. I could do without the dive because you really did lose the ball when you got down. In the NFL is a weird league where it's like, after reviewing the play, the runner did dive into the end zone, but he did not maintain possession of the ball through the jump. Therefore, it's going to be a touchback, 7 points off the board for the Browns, and Raiders get the ball. So I didn't love the jump there from McLeod. Not a fan. But look. Let's look at Deshaun Watson's performance. 24 32, 176 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, right? That 1 interception was exactly what you just saw with Amari Cooper. That's not something that needs to be blamed on Deshaun Watson in any way, in 0 ways. I will rearrange the mathematical statistics. Like I'm trying to push a climate change agenda or I'm trying to push some COVID stuff on you. But I will manipulate the final scores, the data. Because I am going to officially take that interception away from Deshaun Watson. Therefore, he has no interception that day. Now, also, I'm going to award another touchdown to Deshaun Watson for that long touchdown pass to Amari Cooper. Brought back on a holding call, a phantom holding call. The announcers did not like the call. I guess when they came back, they were in favor of it because the producer said, no, don't cause controversy. It's the Browns. We're supposed to make sure the bounces go the wrong way. Remember, we hate them because, checks notes, they wanted to keep their football team. Okay. Sure feels like we're on the wrong side of a lot of these referee situations. I don't know why it's that consistent. It feels consistent. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but it really feels like we get a lot of raw deals. But look, take Deshaun Watson's performance yesterday. Let me go back to his stats. Now he has 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. Because I think that's what he earned on the day. It's not his fault what happened. It's like in Good Will Hunting. It's not your fault. No, I know. No, it's not your fault. Yeah, I know. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. And Robin Williams says that 100 times to Matt Damon, and he breaks him down. And Deshaun Watson looks like a broken down man, a shell of himself. Dude used to have the swag of, but it was like Tiger Woods. You get into a jam, and then guess what? That's called mojo, baby. You lost your mojo. You were invincible. I said that wrong intentionally. But he's trying to reclaim that mojo. So let's just look at his stats. We're going to give him 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And we're also going to, how long was that play? Was that a 70-yard touchdown that got called back? Let's just, for the sake of argument, say it was 70. So now it's 246 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's strong. That would have been 25 of 32 at least. Oh, and the interception, that'd be 26 of 32. I'm sorry, that's not quite right because the play was called back for a pass, blocking a holding call. I don't know. I saw that his hands were kind of holding the jersey, but it was all like right in the frame of where he wasn't twisting a guy around. He wasn't chopping his knees out, like doing anything. I don't know. I don't know how you could possibly call that. And then like on the television, they didn't even put a screen up. They didn't even show you that a flag had been thrown. I was in a loud place watching this, cheering, super excited. And then guess what? We're all just trying to unpack what the heck is happening here. I'll ask Adam one more time if he feels like joining. I don't know if he's just declining because he doesn't want to, or if it's because Facebook is being weird, and it could be both. But I think Adam was actually at the game yesterday, live in Las Vegas with his son, I believe. Am I remembering that correctly, Adam?
Yep. Me and my son, I moved here probably about 3.5 years ago. And it's our first chance to get to a game. And we were there down in the south end zone yesterday.
And so tell me about the whole experience. I liked some of your commentary. I've always loved having you as a part of the group. I like your insights, but you were kind of saying something specific about this game. Like, I've watched the games on TV before. I've listened to what the pundits say, but it's nothing like when you're there in person. There's so much else that you're seeing. And you if you were grading Deshaun Watson, if you missed the part, I'm not sure if you caught what I just said prior to you jumping on, but I said, I'm going to make an official ruling. I'm taking that interception off of Deshaun's permanent record for yesterday's game. That was Amari's, not his. I said, I'm going to give him credit for that 70, 60-yard touchdown pass to Amari Cooper. Add that to his statistics. So he's 246 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. But at the end of the day, none of that happened. That's all in my head. But
Right.
what was your takeaway from the performance you saw from Deshaun Watson and I guess the team in general?
So, I haven't been able to watch as much as I would like this year, but we did watch a couple of games at the sports books. I guess that's the nice part. You get every game at a sports book out here in Vegas, right? So
Yeah.
you can make your way if you got time to do that. But, there's a big difference between watching on TV, which is what I've always done. I've only been to a few Browns games, usually in Cincinnati when I lived there.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The Bengals folks and all that stuff. But, it's hard to see when you're on the sideline view, but when you sit in that end zone view and you've got that, I was calling it the Madden view yesterday. Had that Madden view yesterday, you get to see a whole lot more stuff than what you think. And I didn't play football. I've always watched it. You know that. I've with the heart of all the success there at our high school back in the day. And
you were a big boy. You were a big boy though, and you were athletic. I know you could have played if you wanted to.
Yeah. Well, that's neither here nor there, but just, it was. I've always watched as a fan, so I don't have that same perspective as some of the folks that have played, right? So,
right.
But what I did notice yesterday, you see the holes, you see the movements, you see things that happen that you wouldn't see either A, sitting on the sideline, or B, watching from home. Okay, the holes look different.
Oh yeah.
The gaps are different. The blocking schemes are different. Everything is different when you're watching it with, like I was saying, with that Mad view. And even on that touchdown he threw, that flag was thrown timely. People didn't really see it, but it was thrown timely. But it was a horrible call. But if you look in the first quarter, they called a roughing on somebody on the Raiders, and it was the same hit.
Well, it wasn't about the hit. Hold on. You're talking about you're comparing the hit on Watson that was quarterback roughing the passer, but you were comparing that to the holding call?
No. Well, I'm not. No, no, maybe I'm thinking a different place. Sorry.
Because I think when Watson got hit, I think the problem is the NFL won't let you bury all of your weight on top of the quarterback's rib cage to break his ribs anymore. So when you bring him down, you have to go sideways, and he got slammed pretty good. I think he actually earned that call on that one.
Sorry, I was thinking the wrong play there. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries.
But yeah, but that flag was thrown in plenty of time for it to be called back. But again, they didn't show it on the video board there either. During the game, you didn't see the replay of it.
That was
replays all over the place of that, and they didn't show that one, so you couldn't really see what exactly happened.
It just seemed like here's another phantom way for the refs to screw the Cleveland Browns. It seemed like.
Right. Well, I guess I'm going back to the one touchdown drive that the Raiders had. Now that I'm thinking about it, is they called somebody for roughing earlier in the game, and then the exact same hit on that one of the touchdown drives kept the Raiders drive alive. And it was the exact same hit, a helmet to helmet, but not really helmet to helmet. It was like one step. I don't know how to describe it.
Well, no. You're saying it gets close to something that's really bad and expressly prohibited in today's NFL, but it wasn't. It didn't actually rise to the level of what got flagged for.
Right, exactly.
It looked worse than it was, probably. There's a way to say.
But and you could see that, and that stuff you could see. But the one thing, and I think you made a post yesterday on Facebook, and somebody. There were lots of comments on it about the reads. And that was the one thing I saw is, while the line was terrible. Yeah. And he had no time to throw or move or do anything. Even when he did have that time, he held the ball. It's like, dude, get rid of the ball. These guys are open. Yeah. These are all supposed to be, they were all timing patterns, and receivers are open, and he's holding it. And there would be times that I'm sitting here, and again, not a football player, not a quarterback, so I don't know if I'm right or not, and I won't venture to guess that I am, but you see this read and you see his helmet look right at him, but he doesn't throw the ball. So
it's so frustrating. What is
Yeah.
he not seeing? Is it?
Right.
And my question has been: is he? Look, you just have to ask these questions, regardless if of this is Baker Mayfield throwing 4 interceptions or 3 interceptions, whatever it was on Christmas against the Packers, and stories came out. Baker was playing video games instead of studying the playbook. Or it's Deshaun Watson coming out to crap the bed the first 3 games of the season. And you're going, this is the worst trade in NFL history. The question has to be, is Deshaun Watson intelligent enough to retain the information, to understand the plays that are being called so that he knows where he's supposed to go, so that they call it paralysis through analysis. And it's like when you're coached well and you're a smart person and you can understand the concepts and the schemes, you just react. You're not acting, you are reacting. It is a reflex. That's why you talked about when we played in high school, when I played defensive end, our coaching was fantastic. Every game, we were so well prepared. I was never thinking on that football field. I was just playing. And these were back-to-back 10-win undefeated seasons that went to the, Division I high school football championship, high school football playoffs, and even the championship the junior year. But that was because coaching was so well done. We all understood the assignment. It just seems like Watson doesn't quite know what he's supposed to be doing. It's like it's almost like he's acting like it's recess in 7th grade and someone's got a Nerf on the blacktop, and you're just running around trying not to get 2 hands behind the weight, under the waist, and just chucking it downfield. It's like he's trying to improv it instead of trusting the system. I don't know how much of that is just him being unfamiliar with this system, not being comfortable in this system. But yeah, he has opportunities that he's not connecting on. And that's the part that's just, you just kind of pull your hair out. You're going, we left a lot of points and a lot of opportunities on the field there yesterday. That's how I saw it.
And to your point there, he's clearly not comfortable. They're obviously not scheming to the quarterback. The kid was successful in college. He was successful in Houston. So what is different coming to Cleveland other than the big money and coming off the injury and all the other stuff, right? So maybe he's the same, maybe he's not the same. Nobody's really ever going to know that except for him, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you've got to scheme to the personnel that you have. You can't try to put the wrong plays in for the personnel that you have. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at any level.
And it doesn't work in any sport. You can take Russell Westbrook, and how often does that, like, if you're in the exact perfect scheme, the right system and the right supporting cast. I mean, look, didn't we turn Boobie Gibson into an all-star? Mo Williams into an all-star? I know I'm going back to your wheelhouse of basketball there, mixing metaphors a bit, but like if you add certain role players and everyone knows their job, you kind of camp out around the fringes, and you hit those threes when they're available. And it's like, you can have a great career if you know the system and you play the part appropriately. But yeah, it's like Deshaun. It also reminds me a little bit of Baker when he had offensive coordinator after new head coach after new offensive coordinator after new head coach after new offensive coordinator. And it's like, oh my God, in high school, we took 3 or 4 years of a foreign language. But what if 1 year it was Spanish? And then halfway through the semester, you go, all right, now it's French. Okay, now do German next year for a semester. Great. Now let's do, I don't know, you get the point. If you focus on something and get really good at it, that's one thing, as opposed to diluting yourself. And it's just too much happening and not enough focus on it. And honestly, I mean, have you seen enough out of Ken Dorsey, the offensive coordinator? 4 games in a row failing to put up 20 points in a game. Would you pull the plug on this experiment? I don't know if we're seeing enough improvement to justify continuing down this path. It's been a bad first 4 games. We are legitimately being talked about as one of the 5 worst teams in the league.
And based off of what you see and based off of what the folks out here in Vegas tell you, that's true. They are at the bottom of the barrel right now. They're not looking at the Browns as a team that's going to improve throughout the year. There's talk of other teams out here that they say, okay, yeah, they're off to a rough start, but they're off to this kind of start, but there is no but with the Cleveland Browns out here in Vegas right at the moment.
I heard Vegas just set the over under on the season at 5.5.
I haven't looked yet today. I was at work most of today, but
and I'll tell you what though, I saw if that's accurate. Look, I'm here today to tell you I liked some stuff I saw yesterday. Obviously, there was a million things that were terrible about yesterday. A million things that didn't work. The fumbles, the turnovers. Amari Cooper runs the wrong way on that route. I mean, Watson airmailed that one deep pass. He cut right instead of left, or what? He wasn't reading whatever happened. They were not on the same page. It just looks like they didn't have a preseason, and they kind of didn't. They kind of just said, hey, we're a playoff team. We got Chubb recovering. He'll be back in a few games. Watson's coming back from a shoulder surgery. Let's just kind of take it easy. We're good. We're a playoff team. And it's like, no, man. You lost Bill Callahan on the offensive line. That is a massive loss that I think we are witnessing amplified more and more by each game. And, a change in offensive coordinator has been a shock to the system, not in a good way so far. But what I was going to say is I'm sensing that we are starting to turn some things around. I do like some of Watson's pocket presence. Now, that's not the final play of the game, Adam. How do you not throw that ball, chuck it up for grabs? The game's over. You have to toss it up for a jump ball. Like, that's such an epic failure of not knowing the circumstances and just being aware enough to just chuck it. Like that was a mental error that you cannot have.
No, and again, that even that callback touchdown, like you're talking about here.
Yeah,
it was a blown play. It was a blown read, and I will tell you, because that was the second or third time he looked back to the right, and Cooper just happened to be open. Oh, hey, look, by the way, right, or whoever it was that Cooper? That's cool.
Yeah. A lot of things were Cooper, but I will say Judy's been okay.
Yeah, he's been all right. I don't like the receivers are mediocre right now. They're better than that. I don't know how. There's just no separation on any routes. It looks like they're not running the right routes, to be perfectly honest. And if that is, I guess going back to your point about Dorsey here and ready to pull the plug on it. I mean, is it really Dorsey? I mean, I don't understand the purpose of having the offensive coordinator if you're going to be calling the plays as the head coach all week.
Well, and why? You remember why they did that? It was because they were saying, Kevin, he's not good at clock management. He's not using the timeouts well. And there was a bit of a flub with the timeouts again yesterday that could have given us a better position if we didn't misuse that. It's just it was rumored to be. It's just too much for Kevin to handle, being the head coach and calling the plays and doing clock management and doing the timeout and. But I'm like, that's what the job is. You either have a feel for this thing or you don't. Watson, it's 4th and 4 or whatever it was, 4th and 2, 4th and 3. There's 20 seconds on the clock. You're down by 4. You have to do something. You have to know better than taking a sack there. If you toss it up and it's an interception, you live with that because that's the only play you have and you do it. But yeah, but look, I did see, like I said, I've regraded the Watson performance to be 246 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Through no fault of his own. It was an okay quarterback performance. It was a decent, good quarterback performance minus that final play. But we don't even need that final play if we kick the extra point, and then we could go into overtime with the field goal instead of having to do that in the first place. Like normally reliable. Do you know what happened on that extra point? I didn't see a bad hold.
He just hooked it.
I didn't see it blocked either.
I saw he just hooked it.
Good grief. I mean, Hopkins has been so good for us, and even he failed us yesterday. It's just, it's almost like when not Jamar. Now I'm thinking Landry, Jarvis. There we go. Some other weird, unique J name. When Jarvis said, "This shit's contagious, bro. This shit's contagious." Remember on Hard Knocks, and he was talking about poor effort and poor performance in practice and how this shit's contagious, bro. Oh, did you just drop out? Oh, I think Adam just dropped out. Let's see if we can get him back in. But I think what's happening to the Cleveland Browns now.
Sorry, had an internet issue.
No worries. I got you back. Try to talk maybe a little louder. I'm working on the problem is I could stream you directly through the Facebook, but it's on a delay if I played it back through the screen. So I have another device streaming near the screen trying to pick up your voice. So a little louder the better. I have you turned up as loud as I can.
Gotcha.
But what I was getting at there was Jarvis Landry on the Hard Knocks show with Baker. It was just like, this shit is contagious. If you got a bad attitude, if you got a poor work ethic, then it bleeds into the next person. It's just it's a contagion. You have to correct it. And what's going on now with the Browns? It's just it's Murphy's law. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. And we're in a funk. Mercury retrograde. It is contagious that somebody every game is making enough poor decisions and bad plays to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. We coulda, woulda, shoulda beat the Giants. We coulda, woulda, shoulda beat the Raiders yesterday. We didn't, but we could have. I think we could get a little healthier on the line. I think we're getting Nick Chubb back on Wednesday. I don't know if he's going to play this week, but Nick freaking Chubb, that can't hurt. That cannot hurt us. But the line is clearly different without Callahan, but we are missing our mojo, our swagger, our focus, our preparedness. We don't seem prepared. And that really just goes back up to Stefanski. So how much on the hot seat does Stefanski, DePodesta running this whole thing, Barry mortgaging the farm and splintering our franchise over the Baker Watson situation, trading the farm for all those draft picks? I mean, how on the hot seat should DePodesta, Barry, and Stefanski be? Because we look very unprepared. We don't look organized. We don't look professional. We're getting glimpses, but I mean, 4 games in, 1-3. This is pathetic, Adam.
So I would answer that question and ask to you, how many times has Kevin Stefanski won Coach of the Year?
It seems like every other year. And
twice,
that
right?
so it's like
Twice.
so it's almost like the Baker Mayfield cycle that's clearly been broken. Baker beat the Eagles and the Lions already this year. It's not like he loses to a better team and then he beats an inferior team, but we have a Stefanski cycle where he wins Coach of the Year when the schedules are put out because we had a bad season and we play all the bums. So it's like, oh yeah, we can beat the crappy teams, but then we get an 11-win record, then we have to play the tough guys and we lose all of them. Then he sucks.
But they're not beating the crappy teams this year.
No, we're not.
So,
no, we are not.
So I mean, you think about that. You got 2 crappy teams, and technically, right now, the Cowboys are considered, they're 500 right now, right? They're 2-2. So it's not like they're playing the Kansas City Chiefs every week, right?
Right.
Which is another conversation in and of itself. But
yeah, I know. I'm so sick of them and all of the cheating. They get every call.
But I for me, as somebody who's been involved in coaching and been through the ups and downs of a season and a good season and a bad season.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it's at high school level and it's basketball again, and a totally different world than professional sports and football. You've got to be a little bit more patient with the head coach. Now, that said, the time where they made the Deshaun Watson move, I was all in. Let's do it. Let's go. Guy, it was considered elite at the time that they made that move. Okay? He was considered that by many. Now, it's not panning out, but you don't know that at the time, right? Hindsight's 2020.
Can you remind me was I in agreement with you on that trade?
I don't remember. I know you weren't happy at all about Baker.
Yeah, I was the exact opposite. Yeah, I was the exact. I'm sorry. Stay on your point, though. Go ahead.
But where I'm going with this is, you don't know until you know, right? I mean, at the end of the day, unless you make that move to try and make something happen, you don't know.
Right.
And would Baker have been fantastic the following year? We will never know. And the thing is, he wasn't. He wasn't. Whether coming off the injury, he wasn't. He found the right place, the right fit, the right scheme for him in Tampa. Okay.
He also worked some magic after getting the playbook 36 hours before a nationally televised game against the Rams. A 98-yard game winning come from behind drive at your own 2-yard line with no timeouts, and Baker pulled that off. Like, the guy has a little bit of magic in him, but yeah, it wasn't working in Cleveland.
And that's the thing. You just don't know till you know, right? And so it's easy to go back and say, hey, this was a horrible idea, or hey, it was a great idea. It's easy to go back and say that after it's all said and done. Okay. At the time, almost everybody expert-wise, agreed it was probably the pretty right decision, right? I mean, and I'm not talking to normal Joe fans. You listen to the radio, and these people that are pundits, they're going to say, yeah, it was the right move at the time. Okay? It's not now. And it's easy for people to go back and say, oh, well, this happened, and this happened, and this happened, so this isn't the right move. They really screwed this up, and they mortgaged the future. But, you don't know that when you're doing it. You've got to swing for the fences sometimes, and that's what they did. And I think he just wasn't the right fit for what this offense needs based off of how they want to work, right? So, a guy, I hate to say this name because it's terrible and you would never think, but a guy like Kirk Cousins at the time would have been a better fit. That's why Joe Flacco had success last year.
Dude, Flacco, you remember when Mike Polk Jr., he's yelling at the Factory of Sadness? Mm-hmm. And he says at one point, he's like, it's like they're playing a different sport. Yeah, he referenced another game that day where they put 40 or 50 points on the board. It's like they're playing a different sport. Like it feels like we are just playing a different sport right now.
Yeah, I don't know what they're playing, but it doesn't look like professional football.
No, it's not great, but we have the ability to do 15, 17-yard opening drives that take up 2/3 of the first quarter. We eat away almost an entire quarter and put a touchdown on the board. We can do it. We just don't consistently do it.
That opening drive yesterday, I was like, oh man, they look really good. And then I thought back to the Cowboy game. They looked really good on that opening drive.
Yeah.
They looked really good on the, okay, so what happens when the script?
And by the way, Adam, talking about looking good, last week against the Giants, special teams picked up a takeaway, and it was a one-play, 25-yard touchdown pass, touchdown drive from Watson to Cooper. That was a great way to start the game too, but we can't maintain.
No, there's no creativity. There's no, and I don't want to say there's no adjustments, but whatever adjustments they're making are not the proper ones, if they're making anything. Sometimes there are those stubborn people that just say, well, they're going to beat me. They're going to beat me the way I'm going to play, and I'm going to coach the way that I'm going to play, and I'm going to coach, and they're going to have to beat me. Beat me that way.
We're going to play my style of ball, and if they're going to beat me, they're going to have to do it on my turn. Well, that's what they did with Michael Jordan. They're like, I'll let Michael score 45 because he's going to anyway, but I'm not going to let the other ones. Let Michael get his points, but I can't let the other supporting cast be the ones that determine the victory here,
But when you make a team that doesn't have a running game and let their running back look like an all-pro, there's more than just that. I don't know, man. It's just there were so many things, and this conversation can skip all over the place for every game so far about what's seen and what's happening and what's not happening. It's everywhere. It's the entire team, and that was my point. One of the posts that I think we had on the group is that everybody was like, no, this isn't on Deshaun Watson. He doesn't have any blame. Well, you know what? He's part of the problem. Whether we want to believe it or not, yeah, this team has a lot of issues. He's still part of the problem. He's the quarterback of the team, and unfortunately, quarterback is like anything else in life that they get all the glory or all the blame.
And you know what I like to say with that? I say they're the plumber. If you do your job right, kind of nobody notices because that's the expectation. You're going to do the job right. But if you screw up a plumbing job, the whole house fills up with excrement. It is a high risk, high reward thing. But we didn't bring him here to be a middle of the road pedestrian kind of guy. We brought him here to elevate the rest of the team and do some superhuman shit when you need to. And we just haven't seen it. We've seen a couple of glimpses. Like I said, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 100 and whatever is very different from 246, 2 touchdowns and 0 incompletes. And look, if they don't call that touchdown back, maybe we win that game by 3. We didn't lose it by 4. Maybe we win it by 3. And it's like, hey, look at what we would feel so different at 2-2, 1 game back of the Steelers, right in the mix where the Ravens are, a game above Cincinnati. Like, we're okay. But we're just not because we couldn't get any number of those 50-50 balls. I know you being a basketball guy, like you probably talk about the 50-50 ball, dive on the try to tie the ball up, get your hands on it and stop the play and go to a jump ball. I feel like we missed every 50-50 ball yesterday. And even when we hit the long touchdown, they took it away for, holding. And it's like, we can't get anything right. But I feel like, Adam, we are starting to turn the corner. I've seen some glimpses. I graded Watson higher than I did yesterday, going back and re-reviewing it and trying to get that awful taste out of my mouth. And what if we get Nick Chubb back? What if we get Wyatt Teller back? What if we get Conklin back? What if we're able to get a little healthier? And I don't know. Maybe I don't know what's wrong with our defense, though. Good.
They have to get healthy. They have to get healthy. When you're playing second, third, and fourth string offensive linemen in the NFL, you're screwed. I mean, at the end of the day, these guys, there's a reason they're second, third, fourth string, playing out of position. There's a reason for that. So they've got to get healthy if they're going to have any sort of chance of being successful.
Yeah. And on top of it, DeWand Jones from Ohio State, he was such a pleasant. We were talking about him as like, hey, you can't blame general manager Andrew Berry. Look, he does some good things. Look what he did. He picked up. He got a late round draft pick and got an absolute stud with DeWand Jones from Ohio State. That's going to really help us. It's going to really help us.
And it's not translating at all.
It did last year, but I guess he added 100 pounds or something. He looks like completely out of shape. He's not moving well. People are saying just cut him. Put anybody else on the roster. He's a huge liability. But yeah, we're down Jedrick Wills. We're down David Njoku. Let's not sleep on David Njoku's blocking either. The tight end is a piece of that offensive line, and he's just not here right now.
Right, and him being out yesterday was painful because the other tight end, the Raiders picked up what's his name, Brian. He was playing tight end for them yesterday.
Yeah, Harrison Bryant, and Brock Bowers is a pretty good one too. Two good tight ends.
And so you've got this guy who's been in your scheme for 2-3 years. You let him walk, and you bring in these other guys. I mean, I know that's professional sports, and that's the way it is. But at some point you have a core, and you stick with your core, and you move on. But that's another conversation for another day.
Yeah, fair enough. Any other final takeaways on the game? And are you? I'm sitting here today. I just call it like I see it. I don't continue to carry grudges or anything. Like I'm rooting for Watson as my quarterback because he's the quarterback on the team that I cheer for their laundry. I root for the laundry that guy wears. So like whatever. I said my piece about Baker. I've been very clear. I don't need to keep dwelling on it, although I do because it's fun because I told you so. And he's good enough to win somebody a Super Bowl. I still believe that with the right team, the right system. I think he's got it, and he's still improving. But I'm just calling this as it is, and I have a feeling that we are going to keep improving. I think we are going to have the ability to climb out of this and make a run. Now, have we fallen too far, 2 games back to have a chance at the division? I mean, look, we haven't won the division since 1989, which is insane.
And on top of that, though, they haven't played a division game yet, have they? So
a lot of opportunity to make up some ground.
Right. So I mean, that's still 6 games sitting there on the horizon. And I don't know what you're going to get from the rest of the year. I mean, you're not going to get much worse, right? I mean, the idea is you want to improve. You want to improve every week. So it's just a matter of how much. And at this point in time, maybe from week 1 to week 2, maybe even from week 2 to 3, you can afford to have a baby step improvement. But at this point now, you're going into week 5. If you got to stand a chance at all, you got to markedly improve very quickly.
No, you're right.
And the only way that they're going to do that is to get healthy and utilize the weapons the right way. Because I mean, Amari Cooper doesn't have the season he has last year, and to just suddenly decide, okay, I can't catch a ball anymore.
Well, there's a question: is he so frustrated that he didn't get his contract extension? Is he quiet quitting? Like we were trying to trade him. We were trying to trade him for the 49ers receiver, Ayuk, trying to get him. Right. We know Cooper has the potential. He's been a great route runner, great hands. Man, his head has not been in the game this year. He's been all over, very uneven. He had 2 touchdowns last week, and he was directly responsible for missing a touchdown yesterday by turning the wrong, unless Watson read it wrong. So I'll once again walk that back. Maybe it's not him, but that catch that turned up into a pop-up interception for the Raiders, that killed us. Man, we had the momentum. We were at the 40, the 35, marching down to put some more points on the board. You just can't survive self-inflicted wounds like that.
No, not at any point. It never works, you know. So you can't. And the one thing, and before I go, because I do have to go here, but before I go, the one thing that was noticeable to me, and I don't know anybody else been to any Browns games over the last couple of years when Watson has played. During a timeout, there was a huddle. It was sometime in the fourth quarter, and they were at the 2 or 3 yard line after that punt. So I think they were at the 5 actually, and they come out to the field. The team is all huddled together doing whatever they're doing. He's over off separately. Okay, so one of the things to think about too, and this was brought up by people who were sitting around me. I don't know that this team is playing for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know?
Can I pause that? Just make, because when I said it's like they're playing a different sport, I meant to connect that to Joe Flacco. When you had Flacco with the same offense, he unlocked it and he went vertical. Yes, he had some interceptions, but he also set passing records with Cooper. He went vertical. He knows how to unlock it. And look, he got the win yesterday against the Steelers for the Colts yesterday. So they played for Flacco. And we became a playoff team. I was at that game, that Jets game, when we clinched. Like he beat him in the first half, like absolutely dominated. But so you're seeing body language. Remember when Flacco came in? I believe when Watson had his shoulder surgery, he wasn't with the team. He wasn't in the play booth, in the play calling booth up there with the offensive coordinator, kind of going over how to read things. He was up hanging out in the stands watching the game like a fan. I don't know if you remember that, but it's like, bro, how immature are you?
Right. So that was just an observation.
No, but it's a really good one. I'm glad you brought that up because that's weird.
It was very strange. And other people around me were talking about it too. And I had lots of Browns people there. That's the one thing I will say yesterday. I know I wasn't the only one from the group that was there.
Oh, yeah.
But I will tell you that stadium holds 65,000. I'd say there were probably 60,000 there. Half of them were wearing brown and orange.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty nice. I remember when I lived in Los Angeles, I went up to an Ohio State Cal game, and I think it was 85% Ohio State fans. Took over the entire state. I've never seen anything on the road like that. But Ohio sports fans, we travel well. We're very passionate. We care. So good.
And there's a big Cleveland contingent out here. Every time I'm at work or doing something else, I meet somebody new. You know, so it's kind of like, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting.
No, I hear you on that. I know you said you got to go. Any final thoughts? Can you give me a reason for optimism amongst all of this madness? I'm trying to not take the black pill. I'm trying to be a positive human being. I know I'm a critic. I critique a lot of things, but my gut tells me that I'm cautiously optimistic about us getting better this season. I don't think we're this bad, but we are. Like the results have been there that we suck, but I think we can pull out of it. What say you?
Well, so positive I will go with you then. If you say that the over-under on the win-loss is 5.5, I'm going to still take the over.
I would take that over easy. Yes.
I would look at 6 or 7, but you know, who knows at this point? You just don't know. And I think that's the hardest part about being a pro sports fan of teams that are you live and die for, is you just don't know till you know.
Yeah.
And that's the worst. That's the worst thing. Is like, I think back in the day they would always say it is what it is, but you know, you don't know till you know.
They are what their record says they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and you know what? When we saw the schedule earlier this year, we're looking at the Washington game coming up. You're like, okay, we're going to get this win and get this one. And it's like Jaden Daniels is putting up 40-plus points over there. Jaden Daniels, the quarterback, is looking legit. And if the Browns don't get it together and get it together soon, the wheels are going to fall off of this thing. You're going to see Amari Cooper demand a trade. There's speculation he's quiet quitting on the team. Whether that's true or not, if the wheels fall off and we're a top 5 drafting team, we do get our first-round pick back next year, we might go quarterback because you need a field general that can have the energy and the competence and the physicality and the temperament and the ability to rally the troops. Like you said, you didn't see like the team is rallying around Deshaun. Like they're not playing for him, and he just has to be better. And if the wheels fall off, we might be drafting a quarterback next year and hitting reset again. But at that point, maybe it's a new GM, maybe it's new director of player personnel, or Deep Podesta's gone, and maybe it's a new head coach too. I don't know. But for this season, Adam, I'll let you go. And I think we can improve with Nicholas Jamal Chubb immensely. And I think we're going to get some of those players back on the offensive line, and I think we can turn it around. No, there's no cause to be in complete panic at this moment. So I'm just going to say go Browns.
They're not eliminated yet.
Exactly. So you're telling me there's a chance. So you're saying there's a chance. Samsonite. I was way off. Okay. Adam, I appreciate you, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we talk all the time. To be continued, sir.
Bye.
Take care. Peace. There he goes, everybody. That was fun. I enjoyed that. Anybody else want to jump in? Give me your take. Give me your thoughts on the game yesterday. Otherwise, I kind of think I said most of what I wanted to say. Myles Garrett had multiple sacks yesterday. But once again, if you're going to call that holding play that nullifies a really nice electric play, you could call that rinky-dink holding call any play of the game. And if you got Myles Garrett on the other side and you're going to overlook, okay, here's my message to the NFL. If you're going to overlook Myles Garrett getting rocked on almost every play, held really bad, then there needs to be a concerted effort to also grant some of that grace to the Browns offensive line. So now maybe not letting Myles go completely hog wild with 14 sacks in a game, because if he was played appropriately, he'd probably be twice as dominant. They let him get away with a lot. I said the same about LeBron James. Oh, he's a flopper. Yeah. It's because nobody ever got hit in the head with the elbow and the hand and the wrist and the refs just let him play. They're like, oh, he's too big, he's too good. We're not going to call that. It's going to be a foul every time he touches the ball. So then he had to overreact with the damn flopping that nobody can stand. It's a cause and effect thing, but the NFL referees, if they're going to let Myles get held, you have to extend that same grace to the Browns offensive line and just cut them a little slack. If it's nothing stupid and egregious, and if it's not, completely over the line, just let them play. If you're going to nullify our best player, one of the best players in the league, you're denying the NFL all of the highlights that Myles should have, the career stats that he's accumulating on his way to the Hall of Fame. Don't do that. But if you're going to do that, make sure you're not calling ticky-tack crap on the Browns offensive lineman either, okay? So I wanted to mention that with Myles Garrett. Yeah, once again, Cooper ran the wrong route on the one that could have been a touchdown, unless Deshaun had the wrong read. I got to double check. I'm not certain. Maybe you've seen it on Twitter if they talked about that. Yeah, I thought Jerry Jeudy has been okay this season. He's been kind of good. He's been okay. I want to see more, but I'm sort of happy with what I'm seeing out of Jerry Jeudy. Once again, Nick Harris's bad snap to Deshaun Watson, I think that counts as a fumble because the ball did hit the turf and then he had to pick it up and continue the play. But we're on a very important drive. Was that the last play of the game? And they didn't even get the snap count right. That's the number one thing you take care of in practice, and the two-a-days and the OTAs and whatever the CPAs. I just made that one up. Certified Public Accountant. There are so many players that have some level of culpability in this loss. There are very few people that walk away unscathed by what just happened. Very few people. But look, the record is 1-3. That has us last place in our division, tied with Cincinnati. Baltimore just got they had a pretty impressive win against the Bills yesterday. They improved to 2-2. And Pittsburgh took that loss to the Colts yesterday. They're 3-1. We're 2 games back, people. We play everybody in this division twice. So, the ball is in our hand. It's up to us. It is up to us. So, I don't know. I'm just kind of concerned. Like, the Browns defense was supposed to be lights out. It really was. And the Browns offense has just kind of been... The Browns defense has not been enough. It hasn't been consistent enough. It's not good enough. Not okay with it. We have to improve. I don't know how we've fallen off in the way that we have. But like I said, I'm going to be optimistic. Next week, the Browns, look, it's going to be a tough one. There is no universe involving the Cleveland Browns that is not going to involve knockdown, drag out, season long, 17-game battle royale. Commanders are tough. And that's who we're playing next week. They have been. We're going to be on the road. 1 o'clock game on Fox. Yeah, Jaden Daniels been looking kind of strong. 150 more passing yards than Watson on the season. Fewer passes thrown. The same number of completions with 40 less passes, roughly. Yeah, Brian Robinson looking good. Terry McLaurin. But look, it's the NFL. It's going to be tough for everybody. So let's go. Let's get a win. Let's get back on track. I know we have the capabilities of doing it, so I'm going to believe that we can. We're not eliminated from anything yet. Lift your head up. There were a couple things to take away. Rodney McLeod, that scoop and score was a great play. That deep touchdown pass to Amari Cooper was a great play. Really shouldn't have been called back. We fought back, gave ourselves a chance. We just couldn't get it done. We need to figure out the way to replicate what we're doing on that first drive and continue that into the rest of the game. Beginning of the game, the end of the game, we have some energy. Mitch Hedberg, one of my favorite comedians, he had a joke. He said, when you're in comedy, you have to start strong and you have to end strong. Wait, why can't I remember the hold on. Wait, why can't I remember this? Good grief. My memory, folks. Hang on. I'm going to find this. Oh, I'm sorry. I know exactly what it is. So Mitch Hedberg says you have to start strong and end strong. You can't be like pancakes. All exciting at first, but by the end, you're freaking sick of them. Pancakes. Exciting at first, but by the end, you're sick of them. The Browns are like pancakes. They're exciting at first, and kind of get into a carb coma. And I just want to sit and I ate too much. The Browns do kind of sleepwalk through the middle of their games. It's a trend that absolutely has to change. I do so some of the injury report for next week. Naeem Hines, of course. Yeah, we know he's gone. He would have been a nice addition on this. That would have been really great if we could have had him play, but he's injured. Ethan Posich, David Njoku, questionable. Jordan Hicks, linebacker, questionable. I wonder how much we're missing him. But let me click on the Nick Chubb story, and I will wrap up today's show. By the way, thank you for watching. I just want to show you, we have these pins. They say the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Try and get it in the lighting right here. The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. If you go on Venmo and put my name in, at Brian Engelman, BrianEngelman. And if you Venmo me a $25 gift, I'm going to mail you one of these. That includes the postage. Look at these. Only 100 will ever be created with this exact logo. Maybe the future ones will just say the Unhappy Hour, and it won't say Sports Show underneath. So we're trying to keep them unique and collectible. But let me show this camera here. These are the Unhappy Hour Sports Show pins. Really cool. And if you go on Venmo and you shoot me $30 as a gift, I will send you this. This is a stack. Look at this. Look at these things. These are substantive. You hear them clacking? This is real wood, folks. Let me make sure this is getting on the screen here. The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. These are made in Ohio. These are wooden coasters. A set of 4. So if you go on Venmo, shoot me $30. It includes the shipping, and I will send you one of these 4-packs for your bar, for your man cave, for whatever you desire. Also, look at this one. This is the same thing, the Unhappy Hour Sports Show mug. Look at that. but this is also shaped like the state of Ohio. How cool are these coasters, everybody? How cool are these? So here's the deal. Go on Venmo at Brian Engelman. Send me a gift. Friends and family, we're a gift. And I'll give you a gift back. The Unhappy Hour Sports Show pins, $25. That includes the shipping. We'll get that to you. And then if you want to send 30, we'll send you one set of these wooden coasters, Ohio made, the Unhappy Hour wooden coasters. And let's just say for $50, if you send me 50, I will send you both of these and include the shipping. How about that? So it's 30 for one, 50 for two. So just go on Venmo, and if you only want one and send 30, say circle or Ohio. Tell me if you want the circle shape or if you want the Ohio shape. But yeah, cool merch, cool stuff. I want the core people to get this stuff. I appreciate everything that we've become over these years in the Unhappy Hour Sports Show group. And I look forward to a lot of things moving forward. Staying with you and just continuing to talk about our favorite teams and all the things in the world of sports. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to sign out. Go Browns. Stay optimistic. You can't start much worse than we have, but let's come on. Believe. I believe that we can win. Wait, no. I believe that we will win is what they say. We will win. I believe that we will win. Okay. That's all I got. Thank you so much to Adam Reece for jumping in. I'm Brian Engelman. Make sure you're signed up. Hit like, hit subscribe, invite. Take 2 minutes, please. Go to the Unhappy Hour, click invite, and just roll through your sports fan friends list and just add your sports fan friends, please. I keep the group private so that we can engage and have the camaraderie that we've built without having too many randos in there causing problems. We figured it out over the years. We run a tight ship. We run a really great group. I think it's one of the best groups alive, one of the best groups that exists. Now, I'm a little biased. I'm definitely a fan, but we do good stuff. We got great admins. We just have a lot of funny people, timely news sharing. It's a great community. There's a lot to be frustrated about in 2024, but there's a lot of cool stuff going on too. And some of these internet groups, the Unhappy Hour, like you guys make the world cooler. So thank you for all that. All right. Let's go get that win against the Commanders. Otherwise, we're going to really have to start talking about going top 5 and drafting a quarterback next year. I can't believe we're having that talk, but that's how big one win could have been yesterday. If any number of 10 things would have went right, we would have had that win yesterday. At 2-2, we'd have a totally different conversation today. But look, everybody's playing for their jobs in my book. Everybody. DePodesta, Barry, Stefanski, Watson. It's all on the table. So let's go get the win. All right. W's up. Make it happen. Appreciate you. Love you. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care.